It's a little after 4:30 in the morning Mountain Time, the morning after Election Day, and I'm looking at these numbers which have been frozen in place for several hours as the swing states, as they are called, in the old Rust Belt, as it was called. We've had no change there for hours. I guess this is because there have to be ballots that still need to be counted, and they have been way behind in getting to all of this. We knew that this was going to be a mess from the very beginning. I worked for a time, about 15 months in the Postal Service, long, long ago, but I worked in a postal sorting center, and I know how the game is played. And it's going to be difficult to get these things to where they need to go in the first place to voters and then collected and back to the Board of Elections. And then in some states, the Board of Elections decided they weren't going to start counting until today. I don't blame the president for his frustration. Mainstream media is jumping up and down saying he shouldn't say that. Well, just because he says it really doesn't change anything, does it? Well, he shouldn't declare victory. Why not? It doesn't change anything overall. There will be a certification by the Electoral College in a few weeks, and that'll be the end of it, one way or another. Just one more opportunity for media to keep stamping on the president. But I've been reading a lot this morning, and I've been up since our time, about 12:45. Going to be a long day. I have a show coming up 6 a.m. this morning, Mountain Time, between 6 and 10 a.m. But the pollsters, Frank Luntz just said last week, well, if we're wrong, and I don't know if he was being philosophical or sarcastic, but he said, if we're wrong, we're going to have to find a new line of work. Well, even if the president, Biden manages to squeak by in those states and the president loses, the pollsters were still off by a good country mile. And mainstream media was off by a good country mile. In the House of Representatives, the last I saw, Republicans had picked up 6 seats and are still going to hold a majority in the U.S. Senate. So there will be no court packing. There will be no adding of new states. It appears that the American public hasn't bought into all of the political correctness and the wokeism that's being peddled by media and elites in this country. There is still a strong showing for traditional patriotism, and that was evident in the votes that have been counted already. It torques me to no end that people in media won't learn anything from this. Even over at Fox, they were bemoaning the president's remarks. Again, he's allowed to say whatever he feels and whatever he wants. And there is a history in this country of elections being stolen. My county prosecuting attorney sat in my studio with me yesterday, and we were talking about the history of elections, and he referenced 1960, and it was so dadgum close. I mean, it was a little over 100,000 votes in the popular vote, and as Illinois looked like it was slipping away, the mayor of Chicago at the time, who was the real political power in that state, his name was Daley. Richard Daley, the elder, he ended up finding just suddenly at the last minute another 30,000 votes that put John Kennedy over the top. That was 60 years ago. If you read the history of Lyndon Johnson running for public office in the 1940s, same thing. I need to point out these were all Democrats. Mainstream media doesn't pay any attention to that history. They just look at the claims the president makes today and say, oh, that couldn't happen. He's trying to suppress the black vote. Well, the black vote has been growing for the last several election cycles, so much for that. Plus, the black vote and the Latino vote went much more for President Trump last night than they've ever gone for a Republican in generations. And in fact, the Asian vote improved for the president. So all around, there are people out there his message is apparently beginning to resonate with. This great sort that's going on in this country where there's a reorganization very slowly of the political system, but you're starting to see it bear fruit. If the president can get another 4 years and maybe a couple of other appointments to the Supreme Court, and we can get back to the original intent of the founding fathers and move the country back in that direction, we might just be in good shape. You get Biden in there and the doddering old fool, he's going to be out in a couple of months. I'm already told that Kamala Harris is walking around with a T-shirt that says, I'm with stupid. I got to run on that note. Do want to point out I have a radio show between 6 and 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And you could listen to that if you're not in my immediate area. It's at newsradio1310.com, or we have an app you can download for your smartphone or upload if you prefer that way. It's free. It takes about a minute, and it's a great way to listen in on what we're doing. I try to pride myself on doing a small market radio show with a big market sound. If you like our videos, click on the subscribe button above, and you can also leave me a comment in the comment sections below.